Fortnite's new season has changed everything for me. I was feeling burnt out moving from, Apex to Fortnite, and I couldn't really think of videos. And with a season like Super, it was very hit or miss, and for me, it was a miss. However, with the new changes and the new guns being balanced as well as fun, I have found my love for gaming again, and I have found my passion for creating content on Fortnite. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the gameplay. It was originally supposed to be a kind of new season overview, but obviously that didn't go as planned because of my whole yap. But thank you for watching, and I really hope you enjoy this video. And without further ado, let's get into it. Chapter 6, Season 4 has just been released, and this video is going to be my first impressions and thoughts of the game. I've had 2 games before this. One, I died to fall damage because I was being a bit stupid, and the other died to a dude with a new double pump, which I'm definitely going to try and figure out how to get. But this video, just my first impressions of the new season, first impressions of any gameplay changes, and just overall what I think of this season and how it is going to perform. So first of all, obviously you have the bugs in Demon Debris, rather than, your bosses where you have to kill a person, which I think is actually a really interesting new addition, because, it's not just one person does all the work and gets killed. Like, obviously, the bugs are going to be fighting, so there's kind of PvE and PvP. A lot of people be saying Helldivers. Personally, there is a disconnect from Helldivers to this. My screen! Sorry. I just went really concentrated for a second there. I don't want to fall down here a bit. Okay, perfect, we killed him. But yeah, new season, you got the bugs, you got all that cool stuff. You got the queen, which I think is cool. There is that opportunity to actually earn the mythic and such. And PvE combined with PvP is just an interesting concept. Only really Fortnite was into that. This is kind of a bit overwhelming as an Apex player. You never really had such a big gameplay changes. Nothing like overly drastic to where, I think, oh, this season's dead. Just overall interesting concept. Oh, the bugs! I'm running. Let me take the super duper bounce pad. I got what I needed. He is going to chase me to the ends of the earth, isn't he? We will see. But yeah, this new season's just really interesting. The new guns are actually, the new guns are very good, right? I'm kind of struggling to figure out what to say here, because as an Apex YouTuber, I did fall damage. I was so worried there, chat. Alright, let me just break the wall. But as an Apex YouTuber, I'm not used to new seasons with loads of stuff. And, I have nothing but massive respect for Epic Games. They're always, innovating and trying new things for the players. And I really wish that's something Apex would have done on my time in the game. But fortunately they didn't. And that's okay, like, not every game is going to be good. I'm not saying Apex is bad. For anyone that still plays Apex, no hate to you, like, to each their own. It's just, me quitting was a personal choice. I would never force that on someone else. But, just playing Apex and going to Fortnite, where new seasons, like, suppose Epic aren't afraid to try stuff, and they'll fix stuff fast. Which is just a breath of fresh air. But this new season, I think it's really cool. Now, I might be biased, I think all the skins in the Battle Pass are cool. And, I've always found PvE fairly fun, like. I grew up on Lego games, so Obviously, I wasn't playing. COD is my first ever game. Fortnite was actually my first shooter game and online game overall. When I was like, I didn't play much of it because as a kid, I would get like really angry really easily. So obviously, you're like 10 years old and you're just screaming at a screen all day. Like, that's not conducive of a good experience. Or just overall good growth as a person. So obviously, didn't play much back then. But you know, as I've matured, obviously, you know, I've grown to enjoy the game more. And obviously, I'm a lot more relaxed. I'm not genuinely in tears over every loss. Because, like, 10-year-old me, you know, Fortnite was the biggest thing in the world. Like, obviously, you want to be able to say, guys, look at me, I got a win. And 10-year-old me was not that good at Fortnite. So, I'm sure you can guess how that went. But, you know, coming back to Fortnite, from OG to what, Chapter 4, I didn't play. I played OG Season 1. No, not Season 1. Season 3 and Season 5. That was it. And I came back in Chapter 4, Season 3 to an entirely different game. And that took a while to get into. And you know, as you know, by the time that season went out, I was making Apex content at least 2 or 3 years. So obviously I wasn't just going to fully move over to Fortnite. And I kind of wish I had at that point. Because to be honest, sticking with Apex as long as I did just got nothing for it. And I never expected anything out of it. I just genuinely enjoyed the game. But you think in that much time, they'd finally, like, they just do something to, you know, enjoy the game again. Like, what have they done? They've just made new events that make you spend more money. And I just don't stand for that. You know, you gotta respect your player base, and it's just really scummy. Interesting. But yeah, you know, here's the new shotgun. We're going to see how that goes. Obviously, you know, the new double pump. What is a Wrecker revolver? Oh, it's the shotgun pistol. But yeah, Apex have never rewarded their player base or done anything for their player base. It's all about how they can make money. And I understand EA is at fault for that, but like, just gets to a point, you know. Double trouble. And it's things like that. Fortnite aren't afraid to do silly stuff. They're not going to be like, oh no, what will our shareholders think? They'll be like, what do our players want? And what can we do for our players? And that's just really respectable. Because at the end of the day, you owe it to your players. Your players are the reason the game exists. And if you're just constantly thinking about what you can get from them and not what you can give to them, as a game developer, you kind of failed at your job. Sorry. I'm like not warmed up. I haven't played this game in like 2 days. But yeah, as I was saying, you kind of just, you need to do stuff for your players. Without them, you wouldn't have your game, and that's just that. That's just a cold hard truth. And for as long as I stuck around with Apex 4, the majority of the time I just didn't enjoy the game. Like, there's always going to be a disconnect between people who play by themselves and people who, you know, play with a squad. And the thing is, with games like Siege, it's fairly advertised. It's a 5v5. Solo queue, you're going to be at a disadvantage. So, like, why would you ever want to play like that? Sorry, I just got a random call. But either way, you know, you're never going to have a game where, you know, you're able to play solo when it's made for a squad. And Apex is kind of a prime example of that. There is people who solo queue, but a lot of solo queue requires just insane amounts of dedication and effort. And as someone who only really plays three-ish days out of the week, because, you know, I'm in school. You know, I'm not a fully grown adult, but even then, I still got responsibilities and shit. And with Apex, it's just like, is it worth it? I can't get content, I can't get things done. So like, do I really want to pursue that as a career? Like, I moved to Fortnite just simply because I enjoy the game and there's so much potential for content. And that will always be my main focus. I have always wanted to be a content creator. And gaming just happens to be what I'm good at, so that's what I make my content on. And a game like Apex, that just isn't possible because they only appeal to the professional players. You know, they don't really do much for the content. Realistically, content creators are what keeps the game going. You know, people look at Cypher PK, Ali A, all them, and they're like, whoa, you know, I want to play this game. Without that, you're kind of cooked. Like, Apex is known for just being a miserable experience, and that is not a good thing for your game to have. Because if your game's known for being miserable to play, how are you going to keep a player base? Holy moly! He is just zooming, that's so annoying. That's one thing I don't like though. The amount of running people do in games. I'm not gonna stay there for that. Not worth it. I'm gonna go here. Check out what's over here. But as I was saying, you know, content creators are what you're gonna do. And what are gonna make your game. And you don't want to be alienating them. And it seems all Apex does is make it harder to be a content creator. Yeah. Chill out, bud. But yeah, as I was saying before I got so rudely interrupted, just Fortnite will always be such a cool game to me because they actually care about their creators. And, you know, I think it's really cool that they took double pump, something people love, and rather than keep it, they said, let's make it into something that works for us. And that is what you need from a game. The reason Fortnite has survived so long, even when they have bad seasons, is because they're not afraid to make silly stuff or pay homage to the things that made them who they are. You know, they were the first to do an OG season, and now you see Warzone copying them as soon as they're in a spot. And Fortnite is the biggest game for a reason. This might sound like a glaze, but it's the dead honest truth. They're always looking to make a new enjoyable experience. And as someone who came from Apex, that's greatly appreciated. Because, you know, it's a good, fun experience playing Fortnite. Huh. Ouch. That was kind of dumb. I'm gonna fall back here and heal up. But as I was saying, you know, it's a welcome change. I didn't hit Juice WRLD. Unfortunate. It's a welcome change because realistically, like, you're not gonna play a game if you don't find it fun. All that kept me playing Apex was the fact that the core experience was good. What in the name of anything, anywhere, are those purple blasts? Anyways, as I was saying, before I cut myself off yet again, you know, it's a welcome change. video too. Like, I don't see much other games with a siphon system. That's the Chun-Li from earlier, I think. Yep. Just give me a sec to catch this guy. Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that. Took me a while. But yeah, it's a welcome change to have, you know, new additions every couple of months. And Fortnite have been on top for so long because they are willing to make silly changes. And they keep up with their player base. You know, the thing is, they're a very interesting company. And they're not a company just entirely focused on the profit margins and all that. This dude refuses to shoot me. I'm not fighting that, to be honest. Whoever kills him is going to have a lovely sense of satisfaction, though. Goku from Dragon Ball? I forgot he was in this game. I thought you were dead, to be honest. Yep. And obviously, I think the core gameplay experience with Fortnite is cool. You know, they've made so many modes, like even the new Blitz one, and they make changes to modes so they can appeal to everyone. Like, the amount of crap they've got for the bots is just entirely unwarranted, in my opinion. Like, people are like, no, get rid of the bots, we want a satisfying win. But what happens when you're a 6-year-old kid playing your first ever online game, and you just get destroyed by some dude who's been playing since Chapter 2, you know, knows every building mechanic? You're gonna want to hit, like, a middle ground. And I think that's what they've done. You've got the expert mode for the people who want that, you know, skill-based matchmaking turned off. Whatever, experience, you know, no bots, all people. But, you know, the bots are what gives the kids their first sense of satisfaction. Yeah, as a long-term player, you kind of lose that. But realistically, it's just, they're giving kids the experience we had back in 2017. Did he just start a fall damage? That has to be bugged. I think that was the dude that was running all game. Oh, I can't believe he just died to fall damage. That's so satisfying. But yeah, overall, my thoughts on this season, pretty good. You know, just got into the hang of that double pump, by the way. I am proud of that. But yeah, good season, and I'm thankful for it as a content creator. I know this kind of turned into a rant about Apex, but you know, it was the game that made me, and Fortnite is a game I intend to continue creating content on. This season is amazing, in my opinion. And you know, you saw from that game, I actually won, and I won like maybe twice in the last season. That is a nice win umbrella. But I guess what I'm saying is you should definitely try out the season if you didn't enjoy last season. It is a lot of fun, and I would definitely recommend it. So I hope to see you all in the next one, and goodbye.